Thorney, near Peterborough, is named after an Isle of Thorns in the Fenland marshes. In the 1st century AD, monks founded a house of prayer on this so-called Hermit's Isle. Later, an abbey was built, and in the 19th century it dominated an estate village, established by the Duke of Bedford. In 1910, the Duke left Thorney for Woburn, and his 90 estate houses were offered to his tenants for £80 each. Few bought them because they feared local unemployment. Elijah Fenn rented his 5-roomed home since the First World War. 9 years ago he bought it for £450, and as an added bonus, his great-grandchildren now live next door. When the Duke departed, the almshouses became a village store, whose coat of arms recalls more feudal days when the post bell signalled the arrival and departure of the village mail. The estate school in the ducal village is now a library and community centre. In the Duke's time, Thorney was a self-sufficient community, but today the old gasworks and water tower house only parish council meetings. Hugh Cave, the council chairman, explained the buildings can't be demolished because they're scheduled as of historic interest. The ducal home, once a monastery, helps to keep Thorney on the map by housing a wildlife park, now in its 6th season. It's closed for the winter, but Fred Chapman, its co-owner, took me on a mini-tour.
We do not open during the winter months because the weather in this country is so changeable, and it's not worth risking the animals. They're so rare and so hard to replace nowadays. The big cats, they seem to prefer this cooler weather. In the summer, they seem to be a little bit overcome by the heat at times. But during the winter and the colder weather, they seem to revel in it. The tigers, they seem to like the cold weather. They're not affected at all by not too bad of conditions. Of course, if we get hard frost, we have to straw them up and take precautions and keep them warm. They haven't bred yet. We're hoping, against hope, that they will. Of course, they're very, very rare indeed, and it's practically impossible to get any nowadays. The pair of them, I suppose, are worth about £3,500–4,000, which is quite a lot of money. And you have to you have to feed these animals and really look after them. They've been here 4 years, the black bears. And they were very, very tiny when we bought them. They were just babies. Now, of course, they're fully grown, and we don't expect we'll get any babies from these, because it is very, very rarely that they'll breed in this country. They're a pair of very, very nice polar bears. These we bought 3 years ago, and they're just fully adult now. We're hoping against hope that we'll have some luck and breed with these. These, of course, they love the cold weather. They love the cold. It's a wonder they're not jumping about in the water this morning. But they seem a little dejected when we haven't got a lot of visitors. They seem to like to see plenty of people. This time of year, they seem a little bit, always look to me a little bit mournful when there's not a lot of people around to sort of cheer them up. And they seem to look forward to visitors.
Thorney is also on another map, a map discovered in a Nazi stronghold after the last war. It showed Willow Hall as the place Hitler intended to be his headquarters after his invasion of England. Mrs. Stevenson's not the only person who's thankful her 17th century farm, built by the Huguenots, was never needed for this purpose. Medicine Pond, I was told, was named because a local doctor dispensed green medicine. believed to be just water from the pond, while Farmer Wallace Laws described how a coach and horses were supposed to have been driven into the pond one foggy night, and it's still there. It's easy to believe such tales in Thorney when you're shown the house where the old doctor of Medicine Pond once lived, in the shadow of an abbey that stood a silent witness of the happenings of nearly 1,000 years.